Today we have Owen with us. He is an avid Digimon player, a tamer, if you will. So what deck are you going to showcase to us today?
I like to call this deck Oops All Greymon. It's not quite Greymon Tribal that you know of going up there. It like, literally stops at level 4s, and there is one level 7 in the deck, but I'll get to that. It's really fun. It's very high like aggro, it's high tempo, it's really good. I've had great success with it for what it's done. I was surprised with how well it's played against like a lot of the meta decks currently. So like if you want something kind of offbeat, off-brand, this is pretty fun. I tried out.
So you've been playing red since BT1 basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so Owen is a red fan. So he's read every single red card there is out there, made this deck from scratch, slapped me in the face with it when I played him last, which is lovely. Slapped Liam in the face when he played him last. Just coming in here swinging his red deck around. Disgraceful carry on.
It's oddly good.
Make sure to go to topdecktcg.com and use code BULB810 for 10% off your next purchase. Alright, let's get into the deck profile. So, take us through it.
So, for eggs, we play 4 Cormon from BT5. This is a really important card, honestly, possibly one of the most important. I don't think the deck's playable without this. It lets you draw whenever you attack with a Greymon or Omnimon. The important one is Greymon here because you get draws whenever you swing with your Greymons. Which is hugely important because usually you're trading 1 for 1. You're usually swinging your Greymon. It usually dies to security. If it doesn't, that's great, but then you're drawing a card off it, so then you don't go behind on advantage really, which is a big thing because the deck can just flood out of cards if you don't do it right. So you need to be able to like see more as you go because it's really important just to keep like seeing dudes. So speaking of dudes, we're going to start with 4 Agamon. This is going to set the trend. This Agamon is the promo one, which when there's a Greymon on top of it, it gives the Greymon an extra 2k. So basically when the Digimon's name is Greymon, it gets 2k extra. So it turns most of the Greymons, which are 5ks, into 7ks, which is really important because like it hits above nearly all of the level 4s that you'd see in security. So your Greymon might survive another turn, which is really important. It also gets around the blockers that are, which is big because they can't block without them dying only. Because the blockers, obviously most decks would cap out at 6k. There is some 7ks, but I don't worry too much about them. Then we're playing 3 more Agamon. This one searches you any Greymon out of the top 3 cards of your deck, or Omnimon. We don't care about the Omnimon, as I said, it's all Greymon. You want to see more Greymons because you want to be digivolving your Agamon up before you're swinging, because you get the draw down off the Cormon, as well as the Greymons tend to be just that bit better. They tend to survive more. Like, I don't think I ever really swing into Digimon, but obviously the Greymon is big enough to kill those if it needs to. Then we have 3 more Agamon. This one is the one that lets you check the top 5 of your deck and add a Tamer to your hand. Tamers are also very important to the strategy. There's specific reasons why. The Agamon Bond of Courage is huge in this deck. It's one of our game enders. It's not the end all be all of the deck, but it does finish the game really quickly. And this card really lets you get to see which Tamers you want earlier or quicker, because usually actually the best turn 1 play is digivolving an Agamon, playing a Tamer and passing, because all your Tamers get you advantage the following turn, which I can explain towards the end. Then we're playing 4 of the BT6 Agamon, the one that pairs with the Bond. It's basically just another Agamon name. You can play different Agamons if you feel like it. The structure deck Agamon that gives a plus 1k, it's also very good because it gets over the 5k blockers and it trades with the 6ks. This then it just works well as well because with the finisher you're usually trying to kill with your Bond of Courage. The security attack is really good if you have like another swing, but most of the time you like try and get them down to 2 security, 1 security before then, so you're actually winning the game. That and like it's when you bring it's just an Agamon basically, which is the Agamon line is a bit interchangeable, but you'd want to just max out on nothing but Agamon and rookies. Then for level 4s, this is the only non-Agumon line, and this is technically in the Agumon line if you go by the lore or whatever it is. I won't get into that. But this is a finisher. You play a lot of red Tamers as well, as I said, so this is really good. You just slap this down and go for game on it. So like with the Bond of Courage cards, I'll explain later with those. You can digivolve into the Bond of Courage, swing and then put this on top of it, so you can still get the both effects out of it. So it's good. You will need a lot of memory though, but that also can be solved with this deck. Then we're on to the Greymons. This is the Greymon that it gains you a memory when you Digivolve on top of an Agamon. You can make this free at some point because of some of the other Tamers in the deck, which is really good. The inherent effects don't matter because you're never actually Digivolving on top of a Greymon. So you cap out the Greymon. So this one basically just lets you Digivolve for free. It lets you put or for one, which is also fine, and it lets you start getting the draws out of your Coromon, which is really, really, really important. Then we have 4 more Geo Greymon. This one is also really, really sick. So this one is possibly the only one I'd ever play hard. You do end up playing the Greymons hard because sometimes you don't see your Agamons, but this one is pretty good to play hard because you get the 4K out of it. You get to delete a 4K out of it, which is really, really, really good because that gets rid of rookies, things like that. It deletes guys. It slows their roll while you're speeding yours up, basically. The fact it's a security Digimon, it's insane. But you'd also still evolve this. You wouldn't just purposely hold this. You'd evolve it a lot of the time. Then we have 4 more Greymon. This Greymon is really good. This one gets a security attack when you have an Agamon underneath it in its security sources. So this thing's usually swinging for security attack +1. It doesn't always get the second attack off because it will cap out at 7k attack, but sometimes that's enough. If you're playing against like Rookie Rush, stuff like that, the 7k is always enough to get you over, because I think they play like 1 to 2 cards, maybe a Puppamon or something that you'd hit that you wouldn't want to, or a Bond of Friendship. This is one of the key cards, I think, because when it does pop off and when it does get you to 2 security, even if it dies on the second security, it's done its job. It's done more than like what you put into it, getting 2 security out of just the 1 swing, as well as getting you to draw off the Coromon usually. So then we have the 4 Bond of Bravery. So this thing is insane. It does pull the deck together, I think, because you're able to just slowly whittle away with your Greymons, get cards, draw cards, see your deck with the Coromon, and then you drop this down. Basically just delete everything they have, delete any of their threats, and then swing, and then you take at minimum 2 security usually. Sometimes 3, which is huge, because then you can still finish it off with the Unimon. This card's really, really good because as well you can stuff like if they don't delete your board, I've done things like where I swing at a Greymon and they'll trade with it because they see that it's a higher trade, and then if they had 2 blockers you can just drop this and then kill the other blocker and then go for game. So then for Tamers we have 2 Nokia. This is actually very good. I wasn't sold on it initially, but I think the more I played it, the better it is, because you actually can get some free memory out of it if you have the 2 of them down. Because if you played Greymon that digivolves for 1, that gains you memory when you digivolve an Agamon, you suspend both of these, and I think it'll make it cost 0 to digivolve, and then you gain a memory. So you do go plus on memory there. On top of that, we play 3 Marcus. This gains you more memory when you attack with a Greymon, so you're getting more value out of your Greymons. It's also a memory fixer. It's really good because then when you combo it with the 3 tie, so there's like insane memory value out of these Tamers, because what you do is just say, for example, you have 1 of each of these Tamers. You then just start your turn, you go to 3 for the Marcus, you digivolve into your 1, just say you had your 1 Greymon, you do it for free by suspending the Nokia, so you still have 3 memory. If you brought the Agumon up from the raising area, you're already at 4 memory. You swing with that Greymon, you go to 5 memory. So you can play Greymon for free there. So the deck doesn't have any memory issues, which is really, really important, because it lets you go for those bigger plays. Like at 5 memory, you can then play a Bond of Courage and an Agumon into 1 turn for kill shots. And then finally we wrap it up with a bunch of just killing options, because this format is very, very, I wouldn't say security heavy, but you do want to have at least 1 card in your security that'll give you some value. In this case, there are several. So you have you have 8 of the Tamers, you have 8 of these, and then you have 4 Geo Greymon. So you're already at, I think, 20 cards you don't mind having in your security, which is really valuable in this format, because like these cards are also ones you don't mind drawing. There's some cards like Insecurity Control that you're kind of jumping through hoops to play. You're playing black eggs, you're playing black Tamers that don't synergize. But in this case, these all synergize with the deck. This one basically just goes wide, you kill a bunch of dudes. This one goes tall, you kill one big dude. And it keeps you in the game. It can get rid of the blockers, it can do things like that. It can get you set up for the win the following turn. Overall, the deck is, I think it's really good. I think it's very underestimated. I think it's not really being discovered, and it's being slept on. And
it's a surprisingly budget deck as well, right?
I would say so, yeah. These are all the starter decks. This is the red starter deck. Tamers aren't much as far as I know, but these cards might be expensive. The Promo Agamon, Promo Greymon. Sorry, yeah. There's Promo Agamon and Promo Greymon. They might be the only thing that stops you from being budget. I genuinely think you can play without this Agamon. You could play the starter deck Agamon set that gives us plus 1k. You do only trade with 6k blockers then, but that's fine. While this card I think is kind of not really optional. It does let you go for it does get you the value, out of swinging with the Greymons, while the other Greymons are just there to get you the draws, the Agamons, the things like that, the extra memory off the Marcus.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
No
and we'll
problem
see you again next time.
No problem. Thanks very much.